In a significant shift reshaping global energy dynamics, the European Union is pivoting away from its largest natural gas supplier, the United States, in favor of Canada. This move raises questions about America's position as a leading energy exporter. The catalyst stems from the Russia-Black Sea conflict. When European nations imposed sanctions on Moscow, Russian gas supplies to Europe plummeted, triggering an energy crisis. The United States initially emerged as Europe's energy lifeline, delivering crucial LNG shipments that helped the continent weather winter. However, this arrangement revealed drawbacks. European customers paid premium rates for American LNG, above global market prices. The situation was complicated by Washington's trade policies, which European leaders viewed as politically motivated. The unpredictability of U.S. energy policies during administrative transitions raised concerns about America's reliability as a long-term partner. While the United States has used energy exports as a diplomatic tool, this strategy may be backfiring as Europeans seek alternatives. Canada has emerged as an attractive alternative, offering predictable trade relationships and stable pricing. Their commitment to clean energy aligns with European environmental goals, making it an ideal partner for the EU's energy transition plans. This shift could impact American influence in global affairs. The United States has used energy exports as a cornerstone of foreign policy, but this advantage may be eroding. The potential loss of European markets could affect America's economic interests and geopolitical leverage. Industry experts warn of broader economic consequences for the United States. Beyond immediate revenue losses from reduced LNG exports, there could be ripple effects across sectors. The situation highlights a need for the U.S. to reassess its energy trade approach. This development suggests a broader realignment of international partnerships, affecting global trade patterns and diplomatic relationships. In a significant shift reshaping global energy dynamics, Europe is increasingly turning to Canada as its preferred energy partner, moving away from traditional U.S. supplies. This development could dramatically impact American energy exports and economic interests. Europe's pivot to Canadian resources represents a major transformation in international energy trade, says energy analyst Marcus Thompson. We're seeing a perfect storm of factors making Canada more attractive than U.S. supplies. Canada sits on vast reserves of oil, gas, and critical minerals, essential for current energy needs and future green technologies. But there's more to the story than raw materials. Canada offers something the U.S. currently can't: consistency in trade relations, explains Dr. Sarah Chen. While U.S. policies can shift dramatically between administrations, Canada maintains steady partnerships. The stakes are high as this shift coincides with global energy market disruptions caused by the conflict. Europe's urgent need for reliable energy partners has accelerated this transition. Canada's commitment to clean energy development, including investments in wind, solar, and hydroelectric power, aligns with Europe's green ambitions. Canadian deposits of lithium, cobalt, and nickel, crucial for electric vehicle batteries, make it an invaluable partner in Europe's push towards sustainable transportation. For the U.S., the economic implications could be severe. American energy companies stand to lose billions in annual revenue as their largest LNG export market shifts northward. Industry experts warn this could trigger a cascade effect, impacting energy sector jobs and regional economic stability. The development raises questions about America's future role in global energy markets and diplomatic influence. With Europe strengthening ties with Canada, the U.S. faces pressure to reassess its energy export strategies and international relationships. Tonight's story focuses on an economic conflict between the United States and Canada, with significant implications for global energy markets. The dispute centers on America's dominant position in energy exports, now challenged by Canada. Canada's expanding role in electric vehicle battery materials has positioned it as a key player in green energy transition, threatening America's influence over European allies. Tensions escalated in February 2025 when the U.S. imposed a 25% general tariff and 10% levy on energy products from Canada. This move, aimed at limiting Canada's growing influence, has sparked what analysts call a North American trade war. Prime Minister Trudeau responded with retaliatory measures, including a 25% tariff on $30 billion of U.S. goods. Canada is also redirecting energy exports toward Asian markets, particularly China, through the Trans Mountain Pipeline project. This shift could impact U.S. energy security, given America's dependence on Canadian oil, importing over 6 million barrels daily. The situation parallels energy disputes in Eastern Europe, where energy resources serve as political tools. Industry experts suggest this confrontation could reshape North American energy dynamics. Canada's pivot to Asian markets reduces its U.S. market dependence while strengthening ties with Asian economies. The dispute has raised international concerns about North American trade stability and global energy markets. As one analyst noted, we're witnessing a fundamental shift in the North American energy landscape, with far-reaching implications. With both nations maintaining firm positions, the U.S. defending its energy dominance and Canada diversifying exports, a prolonged period of economic tension seems likely. The key question remains whether diplomatic solutions can prevent further escalation. Breaking news: America's energy security at risk as Canadian oil dispute deepens. Tensions between the United States and Canada have reached a critical point, threatening America's energy security and economic stability. This crisis could impact everyday Americans and reshape global energy dynamics. The Midwest stands particularly vulnerable. Refineries across the region, designed to process Canadian heavy crude oil, face an existential threat. Industry analysts warn that without Canadian oil supplies, these facilities would require billions in upgrades or face shutdown, potentially devastating local economies. We're looking at a potential economic tsunami, says energy analyst James Morrison. If Canadian oil stops flowing, Americans won't just feel it at the gas pump, they'll see it in every aspect of their lives. Transportation costs would surge, pushing inflation higher and potentially triggering a recession. Basic necessities would become more expensive for average Americans. Global competitors are watching. Russia, OPEC nations, and China could exploit this vulnerability, manipulating oil prices and expanding their influence over global energy markets. This situation mirrors Europe's energy crisis during the Russia-West conflict. Recent tariffs on Canadian goods have prompted retaliatory measures, affecting major U.S. companies like General Motors, Ford, Apple, and Tesla. Industry experts predict price increases for everything from cars to smartphones. Tourism sectors in border states are feeling the impact as Canadian visitors reduce their U.S. travel and shopping, potentially costing billions in lost revenue. This isn't just about oil anymore, explains economic expert Sarah Thompson. We're witnessing a fundamental shift in North American economic relations that could reshape global trade patterns. Key questions remain. Will diplomatic solutions emerge before economic damage becomes severe? How will American consumers adapt to potential price increases? Can the U.S. maintain its global economic influence? Stay tuned for continuing coverage of this developing story. Breaking news: U.S. Canada energy showdown reaches critical point. The United States and Canada stand at a crossroads that could reshape the global energy landscape. This confrontation threatens to unravel decades of cooperative trade relations between these longtime allies. European markets are increasingly favoring Canadian energy exports over American alternatives, creating unprecedented tension between the two North American giants. We're witnessing a fundamental restructuring of global energy partnerships, explains Dr. James Morrison, senior energy analyst at Global Markets Institute. The stakes couldn't be higher for both nations. The Biden administration must either escalate protectionist measures or pursue diplomatic solutions to prevent what could become the worst trade war in North American history. Sources indicate that discussions are ongoing, but time is running short. Canadian officials have maintained a firm stance on reliable energy exports and environmental standards. Our track record speaks for itself, stated Minister Thompson. We've consistently demonstrated our reliability as an energy partner. Market analysts warn that any disruption to U.S. Canada trade could trigger a domino effect, destabilizing energy prices worldwide. The situation bears similarities to previous energy crises in Europe. Critical factors that could determine the outcome: impact on bilateral trade agreements, global market perception of North American stability, environmental commitments, strategic alliances with European partners. The resolution could set precedents for future international energy disputes. As one senior diplomat noted, the world is watching how these two democratic nations handle this crisis. With winter approaching and energy demands expected to surge, pressure mounts for a swift resolution. The next few weeks could determine whether we're heading toward resolution or conflict.